famine budgets. The farmers know they ruined it for them, and that's why we're in government and they're not.
Let's look at the facts. A typical mid-sized 360-acre family farm in the constituency of my right honourable friend for Thirsk and Morton. They've spoken to their accountant. Their new liability because of this government is £500,000. That's 12 years' worth of profit. When this generation passes away, that farm will become totally unviable, and it's just one of thousands and thousands of similar farms.
What happens when the very people entrusted with safeguarding the rights of the working class decide to throw them under the bus? Imagine a government pushing struggling farmers into unthinkable debt while pensioners are forced to choose between heating and eating. Today, we expose how Labor's so-called progressive policies are unraveling at the seams, hurting the very citizens they claim to protect. Stay tuned as we dive into the fiery exchange at PMQs, where Labor's deputy leader Angela Rayner is left stammering under pressure, grilled for turning her back on Britain's farmers. We'll also unveil how their controversial winter fuel policy is pushing 100,000 pensioners into poverty. But wait, there's more. Hidden impact assessments, broken promises, and a shocking betrayal of trust are all part of the bigger picture. You won't want to miss how these decisions are not just political missteps, but calculated moves that seem to punish those who dare to dissent. This isn't just politics. This is betrayal, served cold. While Keir Starmer decided to skip PMQs and stay out of the spotlight, he left Angela Rayner, Labor's deputy leader, to face the heat. Today's video dives into her stumbling responses as she struggles to justify Labor's policies that many say are sabotaging Britain's farmers. As protests erupt over farming rights, Rayner finds herself cornered, unable to address the real concerns. We'll dissect her answers piece by piece as Labor's economic mismanagement comes under fire. If you're as shocked as we are by their audacity, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our rapidly growing community. Also, don't forget to check out the link in the description for exclusive merchandise. Earlier this week, farmers from across Britain gathered in London to protest Labor's proposed tax policies, which they claim will devastate small and mid-sized farms. Imagine this. A typical 36-acre family farm, once thriving, now faces inheritance tax liabilities so high they'll lose 12 years' worth of profit just to stay afloat. When one generation passes, the next won't be able to carry the burden, leaving the land unviable. Angela Rayner's response? She assures us that most estate owners will remain unaffected. But here's the catch. Labor's figures tell only half the story. In reality, organizations like the National Farmers Union, NFU, warn that 75% of commercial farms will be hit hard. This isn't just an oversight, it's a ticking time bomb. During the heated exchange, Labor's representative defended their stance by claiming that estate owners passing on farms valued at £1 million or less won't face tax penalties. But here's the problem. Many farms far exceed that threshold. For these families, the new policy feels like a direct attack. A government spokesperson said these changes are necessary to plug financial gaps. Yet the same government has found billions to fund public sector pay rises that far outstrip inflation. Farmers who already operate on razor-thin margins are being treated like expendable collateral. The opposition MP rightfully pointed out that Labor's policies appear to target groups that don't traditionally vote for them. Small business owners, parents of private school children, and now farmers, each demographic is paying the price for Labor's reckless spending. When questioned about these policies, Angela Rayner attempted to deflect blame, accusing the opposition of raising taxes during their term. Her argument? That Labor's policies are fair because they spread the burden equally, but the farmers protesting outside Parliament would beg to differ.
Well, Mr. Speaker, he talks about the facts, and I absolutely stand by the figures the government has set out. And the vast majority of estate owners will be totally unaffected. He wants to talk about the figures, Mr. Speaker. I will be crystal clear. The vast majority of estate owners will see no change and pay no tax on land passed on valued at £1 million. Couples can pass on £3 million, Mr. Speaker.
Rayner's defense quickly unraveled under scrutiny. Despite her repeated claims that most estates will see no change, the facts tell a different story. Data from agricultural experts paints a grim picture. Family farms are being taxed out of existence. Her attempt to justify the changes by pointing out that payments can be made over 10 years, interest-free, only added fuel to the fire. For farmers already struggling to break even, these so-called concessions feel like adding insult to injury. If labor's treatment of farmers wasn't bad enough, their recent decision to limit winter fuel payments for pensioners is another slap in the face. Previously, these payments were available to all pensioners, providing critical support during the colder months. Now only those claiming pension credit are eligible, a move estimated to push 100,000 additional pensioners into poverty by 2027. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp didn't mince words when he accused Labor of deliberately concealing the impact assessment during the parliamentary vote.
This is just another part of the budget that's unravelling, Mr. Speaker. Everyone here and all the farmers at home will have heard there was no guarantee there. We know what that means. They're coming back for more. And even if the Honourable Lady had made a promise today, it wouldn't have been worth a fig. We know that the Environment Secretary before the election promised the farmers this wouldn't happen. Labour promises get broken. Let's put all of this into context.
This is a triple whammy for pensioners, Philp declared, citing rising inflation, benefits cuts, and soaring energy costs. Let's put this into perspective. The Treasury estimates that cutting winter fuel payments will save £1.5 billion annually. Meanwhile, public sector pay rises announced earlier this year will cost £9.4 billion per year. That's over 21 times as much. So why target pensioners and farmers while handing out generous pay increases to union workers? Critics argue that Labor's priorities are all wrong.
The Treasury says the family farms tax will raise on average £441 million a year. The Treasury also says that the public sector pay rises the government announced in July will cost £9.4 billion a year. That's over 21 times as much. Why does the government think that above inflation pay rises for the trade unions are worth so... Order!
Targeting vulnerable groups, they're alienating key demographics and undermining trust in their leadership. Unsurprisingly, Labor's actions have sparked outrage across the political spectrum. Farmers, pensioners, and small business owners feel betrayed, while opposition MPs are calling for accountability. The NFU and other agricultural organizations are preparing reports to expose the long-term damage these policies will cause. The Scottish Labour Party has even broken ranks with the national leadership, pledging to restore universal winter fuel payments in their 2026 Holyrood campaign. This internal division highlights just how controversial these policies have become. Keir Starmer's absence from PMQs didn't go unnoticed. Critics argue that his decision to stay away reflects poorly on his leadership. By leaving Angela Rayner to fend off attacks, Starmer has only fueled speculation about Labour's internal struggles. As we've seen today, Labour's policies are raising more questions than answers. From their betrayal of farmers to their treatment of pensioners, it's clear that the party's priorities are deeply flawed. But what do you think? Are Labour's actions justifiable, or are they digging their own political grave? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more updates on British politics. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.